Hello students, this class we are going to discuss the topic of errors in units and dimensions. Previous class we learned about applications of the dimension analysis. Now is errors and types of errors, and after that we'll go for some competitive based concepts and problems examples we'll discuss. Now look at the one of the diagram is given here. Errors are classified mainly three classifications. First one called systematic error, random error, gross error. Why we have to discuss about the errors? Because while we are doing perform the experiments, what happens sometimes we do the mistakes. Due to that, what happens the reading will not come exactly. That means this is 1 meter. Okay, this is suppose 15 centimeters pen. If you say, if you are measuring this length, if you are asked to measure it, if you are measuring using the instrument, if you are not using properly, what happens the readings may be changes. Sometimes the reading may be due to your observation, sometimes due to while you are calculating the calculation, sometimes while using the formulas, wrong formulas. So a lot of factors are there getting the result. So errors always will be there while performing the calculations and measuring the physical quantities. So we have that errors classified into mainly three types. So first one is systematic, second one random, third one gross. What is the meaning of systematic error? Systematic means in the name only we have systematic. Okay, so if you make a instrument, if you are using the instrument already made with a particular system, right? So that means whatever the errors you are getting while using the instrument, if you are not used properly, and if the instrument having a fault, that error will be systematically repeatedly it will come. That type of errors will come into the systematic errors. We'll discuss more closely. Okay, in the next. Now, next one, what is random error? Random means in the word only we have a random. Random means what? We don't know that when it is going to come, this error. Example, if you come across a case of examples while you are doing the magnetic field experiment, that means you taken a magnet. I asked to draw the magnetic lines around the magnet. When you're trying to draw the magnetic lines around the magnet, what happens? The surrounding effect will be there. Surrounding means the iron metals which are there attracts the magnet. So magnetic field is going to be disturbed. While you are doing the experiment, if you are wearing any ornaments, right? Chains, ornaments, bangles, or rings like that. Okay, in that case, what happens? That will be attracts the magnetic field. Whenever it is attracting the magnetic field, you can't draw the magnetic lines of forces properly, and you can't calculate exactly the strength of that field, because the strength of the field is varied by surrounding. But how much it is going to changes, you don't know that. Sometimes it may be more, sometimes it may be less. That type of error comes into random error. Random error also we can say one more example like current electricity experiments. So current electricity experiments are depends on voltage. So you can't say that when the voltage is going to be up, when the voltage is going to be down. That is called fluctuation. We are calling as fluctuation. When the voltage is getting fluctuated, then what happens? Random errors are going to be occurs. Next one, gross error. What is the meaning of gross error? Gross means whenever any person is worked in a company, okay, so what is your gross salary, like that we are going to discuss. So errors which are coming in the calculations while using the formulas, while you are calculating, okay, while addition, subtraction, divisions, whatever the errors will come, that will come into the gross error. Gross error is one of the mathematical errors which you are getting while calculating or using the formulas. So this is the main three classification of the errors. Now come to the case of systematic error. The systematic error again we are classifying into different types. Okay, mainly based on observation. First one is external factors. What is the meaning of external factors? External factors means while you are performing the measurement of that one. So outside, okay, that means example like whenever you are doing the pressure experiments and something inside the any chambers experiment, in that cases outside pressure also involved in the case of changing pressures. Outside temperature conditions also changes. Outside humidity conditions also changes. So some experiments, what happens, outside atmospheric conditions are going to be effective. That type of errors we will call it as external errors. Okay, it will come from the outside. That may be in terms of pressure or temperature or in terms of any other types of many ways we can say. Okay, so that errors is called as external factors error variable. Next, in the systematic error, we have next one, imperfection error. What is imperfection? I'm measuring this one as it is the, okay, having 15 centimeters. You are measuring this. While you are measuring, if you are measuring as a 14 centimeters, 14.5, 14.6, I'm unable to measure it accurately. That measurement, whatever they are doing, that is not perfect measurement. So that is called as imperfect errors. Imperfect errors always occurs whenever you are measuring the things in wrong way. That error is called as imperfection errors. This imperfection errors sometimes also due to, okay, instrument also takes place, right? Next one, instrumental error. What is the instrumental error? Whenever you taken the screw gauge, vernier calipers, and okay, spirometers, we have some instruments are there to measure the smallest length, the smallest width, the smallest the diameters. To measure that one, we are in the instruments. Physics, as per the physics, we have a competitive questions also on the, okay, instrumental questions will be there. Practical, experimental physics based questions will come. In this instrumental, what type of errors will come? Actually, any instrument when it is made, most of the instrument contain two scales. One is main scale, second one is called vernier scale. There is a two zeros are there. On the main scale 1 0, vernier scale 1 0. Suppose this is the main scale. If I say my finger is the vernier scale, if I say both zeros has to be coincide when the instrument is made. So sometimes what happened after using long days, long years, the studs maybe becomes wear and tear. So wearing and tearing takes place. When the wearing and tearing takes place, what happens? While you are using that instrument, the measurement of the readings will change. How it changes? The zero of the main scale has to coincide with the zero of the vernier. Sometimes due to error in the instrument, the zero may be, the zero of the vernier may be ahead or, okay, behind the main scale zero. Due to that, what happens? While you are taking the measurement of any, okay, physical quantity, that will, you will get as an error this much. How much error? It may be more, it may be less. That error will come. That error will be repeated continuously. That's why that's called systematic error due to instrumental. Example, one of the error called as backlash error in the screw gauge. While you are in the screw gauge, there is a thread will be there. The thread will be, after usage of long time, the thread will jumps. The jumping nature of the threads is called as backlash error. So that is also one of the instrumental error we are called. Last one is personal error. What is personal error? While you are performing the experiments, lot of errors will come due to your personal observation of the readings. Okay, actually, whenever we are noting down any readings, we have to see exactly with the, okay, vertical direction of that one and in front of that reading. So if any, okay, error is there due to your observation, that means if we are observing from the sidewards, not in the line of action. This is suppose I'm taking this pen, this is the reading, I want to note it down. So now I am looking at this one, I can note it down exactly. Suppose if the line is here, if I want to note this reading, I can't note down the reading from this side. And if the reading is this side, I can't note it down this reading this side, because that generates one of the error due to your observation. That is called parallax error. What do you call parallax? Your two eyes has to coincide at one point with the equal distance. Then error will not come. If you are observing the object side of both the sides, either left or right side, then there is a parallax error is going to be generated. That comes into personal error. So, and also sometimes psychological error. Psychological means while you are doing the perform the exam, okay, reading, you may, okay, confused, and you note down the in the place of one value, another value. If you put it, that error also comes into personal error in the case of which one? Systematic error based concept. Next one is gross error. What we are doing, what we are measuring in the gross error. Gross error is three classification. We have mainly, we have lot of errors are there, gross errors, mathematical errors. In that mainly three. One is called absolute error, relative error, percentage error. Because the using